Days before closing on your new Mount Pleasant home, you get a call from your attorney's office. There's a line item on your closing disclosure you've never seen before, and it's due at the table. That call happens more than you'd think out there, and it's almost always HOA fees. Nobody explained it up front. Today, I'm walking you through HOA Capital Contributions, transfer fees, and estoppel fees, estoppel letter charges, and what they are, why they catch buyers and sellers off guard, and exactly what to do so this doesn't blindside you. I'm Kimberly Ritter, a Realtor and Broker Associate with Carolina One Real Estate here in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. I've been working transactions in this market for over 20 years, and HOA-related closing surprises are one of the most consistent and most avoidable issues that I have seen. By the end of this video, hopefully you'll know what these fees actually are and which communities charge them, who pays, and how to make sure it's handled in the contract before you ever get near the closing table. Let's start with what most buyers assume, which is that HOA fees are just the monthly dues or annual. You pay those every month or year. They cover the amenity of maintenance or common area upkeep, and that's it. That assumption is wrong, and it costs people money. Most planned communities in this market charge a separate one-time capital contribution fee when a home sells. This is not the same as your monthly or annual dues. It's a fee paid into the HOA's reserve fund. Think of it as your buy-in to the community, long-term infrastructure. In some neighborhoods, it's a flat fee. In others, it's calculated as a multiple of the annual dues, sometimes 2 times, 6 times, sometimes 6. In communities like Carolina Park, Dunes West, Park West, and Ion, these fees are real numbers. We're often taking anywhere from $500 on the low end to several thousand, depending on the community and the property. Now, here's where it gets interesting and where a lot of agents miss it. The SCR 310 purchase contract, which is a standard South Carolina contract, has a specific checkbox for who pays the actual HOA capital contribution, the buyer or the seller. And if your agent doesn't address it, you might get to closing and find out what is on this is the hook for a fee nobody negotiated. That checkbox matters. It needs to be filled in. The second piece is the estoppel letter. This is a document the HOA produces that confirms the current status of the account, what's owed, any pending assessments, and what fees are due at closing. Lenders require it. Closing attorneys order it, and here's the problem. HOAs can take 2 to 4 weeks to produce it. Some charge a fee just to generate it, sometimes $100, sometimes more, and the amounts aren't disclosed until it arrives. If you're working with a tight closing timeline, a delayed estoppel letter is a real problem. The solution is simple. Your agent should request it early, not wait until the week of closing. There's also a transfer fee, which is separate from the capital contribution. Now, not every community charges both, but many do. The transfer fee covers the HOA's administrative cost of updating records when ownership changes hands. It's usually smaller, a couple $100, but again, it needs to be addressed in the contract so there's no dispute at the table over who writes that check. The communities in my market where this comes up most consistently are Carolina Park, Dunes West, Park West, Ion, and Daniel Island. If you're buying or selling in any of these neighborhoods, this is not a what if, it's a when. And the barrier island communities like Wild Dunes on Isle of Palms have their own HOA fee structures that carry the same dynamics. Here's what I want you to take away from this HOA capital contributions, estoppel letter fees, and transfer fees are not fine print. They're real numbers. They show up at closing, and they're negotiable. but only if they're handled in the contract before you're under the gun. The time to ask about them is before you make the offer or before you counter, not the week you're supposed to close. If you're buying or selling in a planned community in Mount Pleasant or Charleston area, and you want to know exactly what the HOA fees look like before you're committed, call or text me at 843-202-4180. I'll pull the fee schedule the best I can for your specific community and make sure it's handled in the contract the right way from the start. I'm Kimberly Ritter in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. I'll see you in the next one.